If you're losing potential clients after great initial conversations, then this video is going to change everything for you. I'm going to share the 9 different strategies that took my event business from struggling to close deals to booking clients consistently. And stick around to the end because number 9 is where a lot of people fail. Hey event professionals, my name is Sean and I'm a 15-year veteran of the industry, and I know it can be frustrating, especially when you have a great set of clients and you want to close more deals and get new clients, but you just keep getting ghosted by people. Then you're left wondering, well, what went wrong? What could I have done better? And the brutal truth is that most people in the events industry are amazing at the creative process, but not fantastic at the business side and the sales side of things. So by the end of this video, you should have really practical and really great ways to close better deals and more deals faster with your ideal client. Tip number 1 is the golden rule of networking. This was introduced to me a number of years ago when I started my career, and since then I have gone through sales training after sales training after sales training. And this one fact stands true. The golden rule of networking is that whenever you meet someone that you want to do business with, you need to get their information rather than just handing out your information. And here's the reason why. Whenever you collect someone else's information, the ball is now in your court. That's an American term, that's a sports term, that meaning that you now are in control. So if you collect their information, you can actually reach out to them. Versus if you only give out your business cards, if you only send out your link, then you're waiting for people to reach out to you and it's no longer in your hands. So the golden rule of networking is that if you meet someone and you're like, oh, this is my perfect ideal client, whether that's a business or a nonprofit, or it's a couple that you can now help with their event, then you want to collect their information so that you can call, text, and email. Of course, you don't want to spam people, but if you just give them your business card, then you are no longer able to follow up with them. And here's an example of what you can actually say when you're standing there talking to them in person. Instead of handing them your business card and saying, please give me a call, you can say, hey, let me get your information and I'll send you a couple of examples of events that I've hosted recently. Or you can say, hey, do you mind if I get your number? Because I can send you a couple of those vendor recommendations that I was talking about. The key behind both of these is to give them a reason as to why you getting their information benefits them. Tip number 2 is that speed wins deals. So if you collect someone's information, you get their phone number, you get their email, then you want to follow up with them very fast before they forget who you are and what you talked about. Not only that, but if someone has already gone to the trouble of going onto Google, finding your website, reaching out to you, then you want to respond to their email or their text ASAP as soon as possible. Someone reached out to me on my website a couple of months ago. They filled out the form, sending me their name and their email and a little bit about their event. And it took me a couple of days to get back to them just because it got lost in my email inbox. Because it took me a couple of days to get back to them, they had already signed someone else to help them with their event, meaning I lost their business completely. And it wasn't because of price. It wasn't because I didn't have a good website. I did. It wasn't because I'm not good at what I do. I am. It's simply because I wasn't fast enough. Because keep this in mind, if they are reaching out to you, they are probably reaching out to other people. So here's a basic rule that you can live by for sales, and it is the 2 or 24-hour rule. The first part of that rule is the number 2. You want to respond within 2 minutes to 2 hours, even if it's, hey, I'm in meetings until this time, maybe it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, even if that means that you're simply saying, hey, I'm in meetings until 3 p.m. and I'll get back to you. And then the 24-hour part of that is you want to get them on the phone within the next 24 hours so that you can ask them questions about their event and get them pricing, which is really why they're reaching out to you. Responding quickly will work 100% to help you close faster deals because it shows that you're a professional, you know what you're doing, and you have time for them, which is really what they care about. Tip number 3 is to ask, don't tell. Now, this is where most event planners completely miss the mark. They talk about themselves, they talk about the events that they've done, they talk about clients that they've had, and they talk, and they never get their clients the opportunity to share what they are trying to accomplish and all about their event. This potential client, this person reached out to your website, or they DM'd you on Instagram, or they picked up the phone and called you because they have a problem and they want you to help solve it. If you do all of the talking, you don't know what that problem is, and they're just going to move on to somebody else that actually listens to them. In this part of the conversation, you need to live by the 80-20 rule. That means you need to do 80% of the listening and only 20% of the talking. How do you do that? By asking great questions. Not only do you want to ask questions about the logistics of how many people, when is it, and things like that, but you also want to ask them emotional questions like, when your guests are leaving, what do you want them thinking about and how do you want them to feel? As well as you can ask them questions like, hey, what is your biggest concern when planning this event? When you ask great questions, two different things happen. Number one is you get the information that you need so that you can give them accurate pricing and put together a thought out proposal. And number two, your client feels seen and they feel heard by you, which creates an emotional connection that then drives a better business. Tip number 4 is to listen like a detective. Listening is not passive, it is active, and it can make or break this relationship with your clients. If you are listening, but you're not showing that you are listening, if you're not repeating back what they said, and I'm talking about more than just smiling and nodding. During every single client conversation, I take detailed notes. I take them in my phone, I take them on a notebook, I log them in my Event Builder Pro system, and then what I do is whenever there is a pause and they have finished that thought, I repeat back to them what they have said. This helps clarify to make sure that you understand what they are doing, and it also makes them incredibly confident that you were actually listening and that you actually understand what they're trying to accomplish. And when you're having these conversations, taking notes in a central location is incredibly important, which is why I created Event Builder Pro with a built-in notes section. So you simply create an event and then add a note every single time you talk to this client. Here's how to do that in a way that is not robotic and is not creepy. After they finish explaining the vision for their event, or if they're rattling off different logistics, you can say something like this. Hey, I was taking notes while you were talking. Let me just repeat back to you to make sure that I've got everything down. And then you read everything out. And then when you finish, you say, does that sum up what we're talking about? And here's a bonus tip. If you are a digital person like I am, either on the computer or if you're taking notes on your phone, then what you want to do is you want to tell your client and say, hey, I'm taking notes right here on my phone, or I'm taking notes right here on my computer. And what that does is that tells them that you are not texting and you are not emailing, which people might automatically assume if you are visibly being seen on the computer or on your phone. Tip number 5 is the storytelling technique. While you are asking questions in between different segments, after you listen, you take notes, then you repeat back what you heard. Then what you can do before asking the next question is if they say something that resonates with you, maybe it's related to an event that you just finished planning or that you just finished helping another client with, then what you would do is you could tell a very quick story and say, actually, yes, I just helped someone with this. Or, ooh, you want to do it at that venue? I was just there with another client about a month ago. What this does is this builds credibility with your client. It lets them know that you are listening, and it lets them know that you have experience doing what they are trying to do. Tip number 6 is to send proposals that wow. Now that you have notes, now that you have an understanding about what your potential client is trying to accomplish, you want to put together a proposal or a quote, interchangeably used words here. And this quote is going to be the final step before you get to actually sending a contract to your potential client saying, hey, I heard you, I'm experienced, here's my price, what do you think? Now, this sales quote should have 3 major sections to it. Number 1 is it should have an event details section. The event details section is everything from the location to the date and time to how many people that it has. And then I like to include a goals section where I repeat back to them in this section and say, hey, your goal was to have the wedding ceremony be intimate and to have it be really sweet and reflective. And then when we get into wedding reception time, then we want it to be upbeat, fun, celebratory, and family friendly. The second section of your proposal is going to be actually your pricing. I like to do this in different line items where I line them out and say, hey, here's my time at planning and preparation. Here's my time at preparing the logistics. Here's the line item for my time at setting up for your event. And then here's my time of actually helping you at your event. And then the third section of your proposal is going to be a client testimonial section. This is a chance for you to give them information. Maybe they have not gone to Google and read through all 47 of your reviews. And so you can put a couple of your best quotes with a logo, with a name attached if you can, and throughout the entire thing in all three sections, you can put pictures of events that you have done. And tip number 7 is one of those sections that we just talked about, which is the pricing section. Both on the phone before you even get to create a pricing proposal, and then in your pricing proposal when you deliver it, you want to be confident in your pricing. Now let's go backwards and rewind for a second to where you're having the conversation asking questions. If I'm asking questions and sharing stories and taking notes and we wrap up the phone call, if they have not already asked me for my pricing, I tackle that head on and say, hey, I know that when people reach out, one of their number one questions for me is the pricing. Do you have any questions for me as to how the pricing goes? I let them talk and different things like that. And then when it gets to the time for me to share my pricing, before I go into my pricing, I usually ask a simple question. We'll say, hey, DJs and MCs or event planners or whatever it is that you do is usually a budget line item. Do you have a budget that you're already trying to stay within? That tells me a little bit more about what they're looking for and what they're trying to accomplish as far as are they going super economical or are they going for a little bit more higher end of an event? Then whether or not they give me an actual number, sometimes they will, sometimes they won't, I will always give them a number back. And if I have to, I will sometimes give them a pricing range. This is super important. Do not let them hang up the phone without you giving your pricing so that they know what to expect. You do not want them to be shell-shocked when you send your pricing proposal, especially if you're on the higher end of what your market would dictate. So what I recommend is giving them a high side and a low side, even if you can't give them an exact number. Say, hey, I'm going to go back and put this into a proposal for you, which I'll send afterwards. But in the meantime, here's my pricing range. My events that I host usually fall between X number of dollars and X number of dollars. And this tip is specifically called price with confidence. Whenever you say it, you want to be confident in your prices. If you're not confident in your prices, there is no chance that they will be confident in your prices. Tip number 9 is to think like a partner and not like a vendor. A partnership is something where two groups, either two individuals or two different organizations, come together and work together in order to achieve the same outcome. And that is exactly what you are trying to do as an event professional. If someone was to hire just a vendor and not a partner, they're hiring them to just come and do a job and not accomplish a mission. You have heard their vision, you've heard what they're trying to do, you've wrapped your mind around it, and if you are a thoughtful partner, you are going to help them achieve that. A vendor is someone who comes in, gets the job done, gets paid, but is not necessarily on mission with them. So if you can make this mindset shift for yourself, then you can also communicate that with your potential client saying, hey, I would love to partner with you because here's what I love about events, and this matches up with what you're trying to accomplish with your event. And tip number 9, which is where most people give up, is to master the follow-up game. Now, studies show that it takes an average of 8 to 12 touch points with a brand new client before a sale is made. Most people give up around reach out number 3 or reach out number 4. If someone reaches out to you on your website, that would be touch point number 1. If you get them on the phone, that's going to be touch point number 2. If afterwards you send them an email with your proposal, that's going to be touch point number 3. But you cannot stop there. You have to keep going. Because remember, it takes between 8 to 12 touch points on average in order to make a sale according to this data. So what you want to do is you want to be persistent, not annoying, but professional in following up and saying, hey, I was working at this venue and I thought about you because it has similarities to this venue. Or you want to reach out to them and say, hey, I was working on this event and it gave me an idea for what we talked about, which is this. So yes, 100% you want to have an amazing phone call, ask great questions, follow up with a quote. Then you want to follow up and follow up and follow up again. And do not assume that they are saying no to you until it's actually a no, because it could be that they're just busy and they have not had a chance to answer your questions yet. So if you can accomplish all of these, everything from collecting their information to following up like a professional, then I guarantee that you will close more deals and you will get better clients. And here's what I want all of us to understand is that yes, 100% event planning is a relationship business, but it is also a sales business. Sales is not a dirty word. Sales is simply, I have a solution to your problem, and let's make sure that we can fix your problem together. And here's my final encouragement to you is that you will get a no. These tips are not guaranteed to help you close every single deal every single time. Sometimes it's not a fit for you, or sometimes it's not a fit for them, and that's okay. But every single time you get a no, means that you did not fail. It means that you took a step of faith, you put yourself out there, and it means that you got another repetition in, because sometimes it's all about getting the practice in that prepares you for that next big deal that comes your way. So remember that every conversation you have is practice for the next one, and every time you follow up with someone is an opportunity to land a new client. Don't be discouraged, keep going, because the event industry does need more creative people, but it also needs more business professionals. And that is exactly what you're becoming if you follow these 9 tips. Now, if you found this video helpful, be sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe for more event planning related content, and I would love to hear from you. If there's something that works great for you to close deals, what is it? Let me know in the comments below.